Good morning. It was a quiet afternoon when a man approached me in my study, his face contorted with a mixture of confusion and disapproval. I had recently made a decision that, according to him, violated some convention, some unwritten law that society deemed essential. He seemed eager to challenge my actions, to call them into question. His voice was sharp as he began to speak, a subtle but unmistakable accusation in every word. "Professor Kant," he began, "I heard of your recent decision regarding the matter of trade regulations. How could you, a man of reason, endorse such a move? It goes against everything we have come to expect from those in your position. Surely you must understand that the consequences of your actions are profound. People are questioning your judgment. Don't you think you should explain yourself?" I paused before responding. The impulse to justify myself was, of course, strong. Indeed, the human tendency to explain and defend one's actions when confronted with criticism is nearly universal. Yet, I refrained from speaking, allowing a silence to settle between us. In that quiet, I found clarity. "Why do you ask for an explanation?" I inquired, my voice calm yet deliberate. "Is it not because you believe my actions require your approval to be justified? I must ask you, then, do facts require justification?" The man seemed taken aback, momentarily silenced by my question. He stumbled over his words, unsure of how to respond. "Well, I just think that if people see that you stand by your decision, then they might better understand why you did it." I nodded slowly, considering his words. "Ah, so you believe that if my actions are not readily understood by others, they must be explained, as if to appease them. But does truth need appeasement? Does reason need defense?" I leaned forward slightly. "I ask you, if I acted according to reason, if my actions were grounded in duty, then why should they need defending? Should not the truth stand firm on its own, regardless of how it is received?" The man looked at me, his expression a mixture of confusion and hesitation. "But the people are upset. They don't understand why you did what you did. Surely you must explain yourself to calm their fears, to bring them back in line with your way of thinking." I shook my head slowly. "You see, this is precisely where the error lies. To justify oneself is not simply an act of defense. It is an admission of uncertainty. When you feel the need to explain your actions, you suggest that they may not be right unless others understand them. But if I am sure in my judgment, if I am certain that my actions are in accordance with reason and duty, then why should I feel the need to change my reasoning to make it more palatable to others?" I paused, allowing the weight of my words to sink in. The man seemed deep in thought, though still unsure. I pressed on. "To justify yourself is to surrender your moral autonomy. It is to place your actions in the hands of others, to say, 'I need your validation.' But true moral action does not require external validation. It requires only adherence to what is right. The moral agent does not act because others will approve, but because his actions align with the categorical imperative, with the principle that guides all reasoned decisions." The man still looked uneasy, though I could see that my words had begun to resonate with him. "But surely," he said, "when one is criticized, it's natural to want to explain one's intentions, to show that there is more behind the action than mere impulsiveness. It's not about validation. It's about making the other understand why it was necessary." I smiled, for his words revealed an important distinction. "You see, it is not the explanation itself that is the issue. but the very need to justify. If you act with certainty, then your actions will speak for themselves. The need for explanation only arises when we are uncertain of the morality of our actions. It is not a moral failing to act in accordance with reason, and it should never be a reason for defense. You must ask yourself, would I wish that my actions be universally accepted as right? If yes, then no justification is required. At this point, the man seemed to grasp the core of what I was saying. His expression softened, as if he was beginning to understand that justification was, in fact, a sign of moral weakness, not strength. As the conversation drew to a close, I reflected on the deeper implications of our discussion. Justifying oneself is not merely an act of defending one's actions. It is an admission of uncertainty, a crack in the foundation of one's moral reasoning. Those who act in accordance with reason and duty should not need to explain themselves to others. The truth, after all, does not need validation. It stands on its own. And if your actions align with the moral law, then you need not justify them to anyone.